You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, so I did. Hi, I'm Jose Monkey, and I find people who ask to be found. Guys, I'm going to apologize in advance because this is going to be a really long video. It took me forever to figure this one out, and it's going to take me a long time to explain it. This person sent me more than one video of the same location, and it's a good thing they did because I was pretty stumped at first. So what can we see? The first video that this person sent me just shows walking along a path across a footbridge in a wooded area. And I looked at that and I laughed out loud because there was no way I was going to find that. I let the person know that I wasn't very optimistic, and they quickly followed up by sending me a second video that continued where that one left off. But it didn't really show me very much more. It just showed that the path continued, curved around a bit, went uphill, and came out at a parking lot. So I added that video to the list. I thanked the person for giving me some more information, but I was not particularly optimistic. Still, I kept looking at the videos, trying to see if I could pull out any other clues. A couple weeks later, I think the person decided that the videos that they sent me were probably impossibly hard, and they took pity on me because they sent me a third video that picks up where the second video left off. That video shows more of the parking lot that we see at the end of the second video, and finally gave me some clues that I could use. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Jose Monkey, it's another parking lot. You're just going to use the business names to find it. Well, I assure you, it's not that kind of parking lot. There really aren't that many buildings to see in the video, and certainly not any that have names on them. The look of it kind of reminded me of what you might see on like a college campus or maybe near like an office building. But I made note of the walkways that we could see, the grassy areas, the lampposts. I also noticed that we could see several transmission towers nearby. The person crosses his first crosswalk and starts walking through the parking lot, and I made note of the paved pathway here that we can see that kind of divides the parking lot in this area. That seemed pretty distinctive to me. The person points out that there's some construction going on off in the distance and there's a large crane there, but I wasn't sure if that was going to help me. We also get a couple glimpses of these towers or masts that are up on the hill off in the distance here. One of the only buildings we can see clearly is this one, so I made a note of what that building looked like. The person crosses a second crosswalk, but not before they bent down to pick up the earbud that fell out of their ear.
Shoot, earbud fell out.
By the way, this person gives a running commentary all throughout this third video, and I listened to it so many times that I feel like I have almost the whole thing memorized, including how many times he pointed out what a beautiful day it was.
Oh wow, it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day.
And how big that crane is.
Huge crane.
Gosh, a big crane.
Anyway, near the end of the video, the person crosses a third crosswalk, and there were some other people approaching at that point, so the person got kind of quiet. Okay, act normal, pretend you're not recording a video to send to some guy on TikTok. And the video ends shortly after that, but not before we see these metal plates on the ground here. Okay, just a few other things. I don't remember if it's in the video commentary or in a comment that this person posted, but they told me that there is an interstate very close to this place. They also called out that the state that they're in does not require front license plates, so that narrows it down to about 20 states. And they did a pretty good job of not showing me any license plates on any of the cars. I say pretty good because they missed this one on this truck here. I can see that this is an Arkansas plate, and not only that, I can see this dealer sticker on the car that says Landers. I'll come back to that in a minute. By the way, at this point in the video, as he was approaching this truck with a hitch, I had to resist the fatherly urge to say, watch the hitch. My kids are always laughing at me because if we are ever walking past a truck with a hitch, I can't not say, watch the hitch. Anyway, watch the hitch. Okay, so that car dealer sticker said Landers, and the truck was a Ford. So I figured I would look for Ford dealers with that name in Arkansas. I didn't find exactly that right away, but I was getting matches for something called Everett Ford. That's in Benton, Arkansas, and so I looked at it and I discovered that it looked like maybe it was called Landers Ford before that, and I saw this sign which matched what I saw on the truck. So I figured that was probably right. So I thought maybe I should look in that general area. But look for what? Well, all I knew is that it was a parking lot, it was near an interstate, there were power lines nearby, and there were some towers up on a hill that's not too far from there. I should also be looking for a parking lot that has some sort of like walking path and maybe a small creek with a footbridge nearby. So I brought up a map of that area and I figured out where the interstates were and where the towers are and where the power lines are. And I just started scoping out all the most likely locations where it looked like I could see those things in roughly the right arrangement. And guys, I did that for a long time and did not find it. So I took a break on this one and decided I would come back to it. When I did, I decided that maybe I focused in on that area near the Ford dealer too quickly. Then I started to wonder if maybe there were multiple car dealers that used that Landers name in different locations around the state. So I went to their website to check it out, and it turns out they do have multiple locations, but only a few of them are in Arkansas. 2 of them are right in that area that I'd already been checking. There was another one up in the northwest corner of the state. So I just started that whole process over again. I brought up the map of that area, looked for the interstates, the towers, and the power lines. The good news is there's only one interstate in that area of Arkansas. It's I-49. So I just started looking for places along I-49 that might match. It didn't take me too long to find this JB Hunt training facility that had some power lines right near it, and it had really big parking lots. But the more I looked at it, it didn't look exactly right. I wasn't seeing the paved path like I was looking for, and it just didn't look exactly right. But I decided to check out the Google Street View anyway to see if I could find any clues. And when I did, I noticed a couple things. First, the training center was constructed recently, which told me that this area might be changing a lot, which made me a little bit nervous because it might make it harder to find things. But the second thing I noticed is that I could see the towers off in the distance that looked very much like what I saw in the video. So I started thinking that this was the right place, but I didn't know exactly where. And I spent a long time looking at satellite views and street views and 3D views trying to figure it out, but I just could not make it match the video. At that point, I realized two more things. First, I didn't see anywhere near the parking lots that I was looking at where there might be a creek and a footbridge like what we saw in your video. Second, while I was fairly certain that I was looking at the right towers in the street view photo, they didn't look to be the right distance from each other. The street view photo seemed to show the towers too close to each other than they were in your video. This told me that the angle was probably wrong. Those towers were south of the location where the street view photo was taken, so I knew that meant I needed to go east or west to get the angle right. So I went a bit west of there and I found yet another JB Hunt facility with a different parking lot. And guess what? That was it. You were in the parking lot near the JB Hunt Building C in Lowell, Arkansas. Okay, I'm not sure if it's Lowell or Lowell. I tried really hard to look up how to pronounce this and I couldn't find a good reference, so I'm sorry if I messed it up. Anyway, obviously the 3D view does not show the parking lot, but if you look at the satellite view, it does show the parking lot. And the parking lot has all the details that I was looking for, the crosswalks, the paved path in the middle. Based on what I was seeing, I was able to verify all landmarks in your video, and I was able to reconstruct the path that you walked from the beginning of the first video to the end of the third video. You started here near the footbridge that you showed us in video 1. You followed the path through the wooded area as it curved around and went uphill to the area where it opens up to the parking lot. At that point, you turned left and followed the walkway until you got to the crosswalk, where you made a right turn. You crossed the crosswalk and followed the paved path until you got to the second crosswalk, which you also crossed. You continued along until you got to that third crosswalk, which was right near the end of the third video. I couldn't get any good street view photos in this parking lot, but I was able to get this 3D view of the building that I noted in your video. Also, I was able to confirm exactly the location where your third video ended, because if you recall, we saw those metal plates on the ground right before the video ended, and you can see them in the satellite view right here. Guys, I'm sorry this video took so long. It was really hard to find, and it was a lot to explain, so I hope you stuck with me to the end. If anybody else would like me to find them, record a video where you say, "Find me, Jose Monkey," or something like that, on camera, or hold up a sign that says something similar. And don't forget to tag me in a comment on that video.